To be one with things. It was a day in the middle of September years ago. It was extremely hot in spite of Higan, the autumn equinoctial week being closer. And I, annoyed by the radiant sunlight that had been shining since the early morning. I heard a car sound and looked out the window, then found a white Mercedes parked in front of the temple gate. I immediately realized it was Mr. Shibata. He usually comes to greet me at the entrance hall after visiting the grave, but after 30 minutes of waiting, he still did not come to see me. So I went to the cinerarium. I saw Mr. Shibata was washing the flower vase after bringing it from the central hall altar. He was cutting the chrysanthemum branch into about 20 centimeter pieces and washing the vase using a cleaner. I am sorry, changing the water is my job. I am so lazy, I said, and I tried to pick up the garbage at his feet. Then Mr. Shibata responded, No, it is my job. It is easy for me. Throwing away garbage is also a florist's job, so I am pleased to do it. The inside of the vase was slimy and smelled foul. It is difficult to remove the smell from its hands without using a soap. I felt sorry for him and heartily bowed my head for his virtue, practiced voluntarily. By the way, those chrysanthemums are grown in Jeju Island, Korea, and brought by Mr. Shibata. Now, we wanna study about the title "To Be One with Things." Heart are things which will come fast. You will understand that things won't come fast, according to Mr. Shibata's behavior. I believe that successful people have something different from others. It is certain that most people cannot keep the present prosperity through the influence of his father for an extended time. Mr. Shibata used to be a fish dealer 30 years ago. He changed his job to a florist, and his business is successful so far. He built his own office, Seika Sangyo Inc., right next to Fukuoka Airport, and currently imports and sells fresh flowers. In autumn of 2008, there was a serious financial disaster called the subprime lending crisis. It still has an influence on the economy, not only the Western countries, but also in Japan. At that time, I heard a story from Mr. Shibata. I quit being a fish dealer and changed my job, florist, because small fish markets are deprived of their customers by big supermarkets. In other words, I lost the competition. Housewives started to buy sliced fish at the supermarket instead of buying whole fish in a fish market and cutting it by themselves. Therefore, small fish markets could not keep their business. That is the reason why I gave up on that job. But I have another reason actually. If a fish dealer prepares fresh fish for their customers, their businesses will be in the red. It is quite expensive to purchase natural sea bream or natural yellow tile, etc. We cannot make a profit unless we are selling older fish. That was against my policy and as a fish dealer. Therefore, I gave up being a fish dealer and become a florist. Let me describe my flower shop that thanks to a good relationship with many friends of mine, I contracted with some farmers in Singapore to cultivate flowers and transport them to Japan by air. I established a system by which the flowers harvested in the field of Singapore then will be delivered to the reception desk of the hotel in Kyoto within 48 hours. Now, I have a similar contact with flower farmers in Jeju Island, Korea, and Colombia, South America. When I have time, I sometimes walk around the marketplace in the Yanagibashi district of Fukuoka, or look around a booth selling fish at the department store. One day, at the beginning of October in 2008, around noon, I stopped by a fish market in Yanagibashi as usual. There were many kinds of fish that had not been sold that day, particularly some expensive cut. Why have they not been sold yet? There must be some financial problem occurring. High-class restaurants usually purchase expensive fish early in the day, so I was concerned. I usually take flowers orders for New Year's at the beginning of November, following the method I used when I was a fish dealer. Otherwise, I will be deprived of customers by department stores in December. However, in 2008, after seeing the fish market in Yanagibashi, I took order for them at the beginning of October. That got almost same numbers of orders. After that, I immediately found the article about the subprime lending crisis in the newspaper. The world was very unstable. Nothing is going well. If sales fall by 5%, it is very serious. If they fall by 20 or 30%, a company will go bankrupt. This is the unforgiving nature of reality. When the issue was reported in the newspaper, it is already too late. We have to take action before the event, not after. For that reason, we have to use our intuition. If someone asks me what we should do, I may have no answer. In this case, if my intuition gets dull, my business will get much worse. When we learn hard with things which will come fast, I believe that if heart and things become one, it will create emotion. On the contrary, if they are separate things, don't go well. To bring them together as one, we should make our own path and sweat, like Mr. Shibata. Mr. Shibata said, thanks to a good relationship with many friends of mine, as I mentioned previously, to cooperate with others and achieve something could be said to become one with things. Nobody can do anything alone.